According to this here, David Koresh was a leader of the cult leader of the Seventh-day Adventist Church. And what he did was, it's talking about several things. Now, why they didn't put these in Sabbath school books? You see what I'm saying? In 1993, indicates involved guns and multi-tip deaths were less familiar to America than they are today. Adventists shocked when Adventists shocked when a shout out with federal police occurred on February the 28th at a rare outpost ran by alter fundamentalist Adventist splitter, the splinter, the splinter group or the splitter group for federal agencies were dead, 16 wounded, and televisions and helicopters began to circle over an army of police around the modest compound near Waco, Texas. A standoff lasted 6 weeks. A standoff lasted 6 weeks with constant of television and radio identifying the group as Branch Davis Seventh-day Adventist. There were interviews with a young man who was introduced as the group's leader. He was born Venomon, however, and had assumed the name David. He had assumed the name David Koresh that sounded uh I don't know what that is. People early familiar in tone and style to anyone who sat in Sabbath discussion of end time events in 1960s and 1970s. The news also reported that he had been charged with threatening people with guns and accused of child molestation, that he practiced pornography, polygamy, even with girls below the age of consent, while insisting on celebrating for the other men. So David Koresh, this was a white supremacist, white man. He was charged with all kinds of molestation. These people were cult leaders of Seventh-day Adventists. That's why they say Seventh-day Adventist is false. It was created by so-called white man. All of these denominations was created. Just why I say, that's why I'm saying, what's the other one? That they had this Seventh-day Adventist pastor. Y'all know that the Catholic Church, they do all that kind of stuff. And this is what we follow. We following man-made religion. We following two pedophiles when we follow this. We're following after a what you call these people? The name that I want to call. We are following a cult leading. We are following we are following a culture. This is Esau's culture. Esau's culture is to deceive. Esau, you're following the culture. That's their culture, to be pedophiles. They got somebody else about it. It says at the time, Pastor Gary Patterson was associated to the president of the denomination's North American Davis NAD, and just a few months prior to the incident, he was part of the team that presented a similar on Christ management at a at a conviction for confederates of staff professionals. Unfortunately, we did not follow our own advice. He told Adventists today recently when the event broke upon us, we were unprepared to deal with it. It took two or it took 2 or 3 weeks to put the plan together before we had trained personal in a certain spokesperson to address the media. There were those who within the denomination who saw this event as an opportunity to receive national attention for their views on the apocalyptic scriptures and theology. Patterson's recall the news media was forced was focusing on a sensational story rather than biblical interpretations. And the more they attempted to gain media attention for their views, the more the church became attacked to the cult group in the media stories, and in the minds of the public. A crisis team was eventually able to disconnect the denomination from the extreme views and actions of Branches Davis removed the name of the church from the news stories. Remove the names of the church from the news stories. See, they didn't want their church to be revealed for what it was. Yeah. So I'm gonna stop it right here. I'm gonna see how I read and how it came out. If the videos are okay, then I'll leave them up. I think I did more reading than anything. So I'm gonna see y'all later. I try to do more reading. I try not to just come on here and just do a whole bunch of talking or whatever, and so on and so forth. So I'm gonna see y'all later. Y'all have a good night. Peace and love to my melanated people of color. All right, I'm out.